Funding for Schaefer-Ellis is provided by
Rocket Money, the sponsor of today's video. More on them later.
Mario Kart World!
You sure you don't want to do another take of that, Kevin? It sounds a little, yeah, I guess we can go with that. That's fine. Okay, sure. Mario Kart World is finally here. The first new major installment in the Mario Kart series in 11 years. The previous mainline console installment, Mario Kart 8, is straight up older than my YouTube channel. It's kind of been a while. Now, if you watched my review of the Minecraft movie, you might remember how my friend was invited to play the game early, while I had to sit outside twiddling my thumbs not playing it. Well, there's a happy ending to that story. I actually did get to play Mario Kart World early. One day early, in fact. I literally only played it like 6 hours before the rest of the world got to. You see, I went to New York City the day before the Switch 2 launched to hang out with this random white guy with glasses, where we filmed a video you may or may not see on his second channel at some point. And he also invited me to a special Mario Kart event Nintendo was holding outside their flagship New York store. It was a really fun time and a great way to both experience Knockout Tour for the first time and get a glimpse of how stunning the game looks on a 4K TV. Something I do not actually own, but I'm really glad Nintendo does, considering they're a bunch of starving indie devs. Speaking of which, there's obviously been a considerable amount of controversy related to the game's $80 standalone price tag. I personally didn't put that much thought into the matter because I got the bundle that offers the game at a discounted price of $50, and I feel like most people buying the Switch 2 at launch did that anyway. But I suppose this isn't going to be the only game bundled with the console forever, and eventually some people are going to have to make that pretty hefty purchase if they want to play this. So I figured instead of just pondering the obvious question of is it good or nah in regards to this game, since the answer is obviously yes, it is good at the very least, it might be more practical for future generations who find this video to hear my take on whether I think there's enough quality content to justify the $80 price tag. Even putting that question aside, I kind of just wanted to lay down the foundation of how I feel about it. So with all that said, let's talk some kart.
But first, a word for me in the real world. Check it out, it's a road, like in Mario Kart. They made it into a real thing, wow. Speaking of Mario Kart, now that I've made a pretty large purchase that I may or may not name right now, I better start budgeting. And if you've also made a rather large purchase recently and need help budgeting yourself, that's where Rocket Money comes in. It's an easy-to-use app that helps you save more and manage your money better. I love using Rocket Money to set budgets. You can use the app to create a customized budget in seconds. The app shows you where your money's going at all times and identifies top spending categories with insights on how you can stay within your budget better. Rocket Money will notify you about upcoming charges or when your balance is low to help you avoid overdrafts and late fees. And we gotta talk about how easy it is for Rocket Money to help you cancel unwanted subscriptions. Once you connect your bank account, Rocket Money identifies all your subscriptions in a single list. From there, you can select the ones you don't want anymore, and Rocket Money may be able to help you cancel with just a few steps. Go to rocketmoney.com/Schaefer-Ellis or click the link in the description to get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with Premium. That's rocketmoney.com/Schaefer-Ellis. And now, back to the kart discussion.
Spoilers for the entirety of chapters 3 and 4, by the way. I'm gonna be talking about the plot details and the secret bosses, so Wait, no, I think I got my games mixed up. Hold on. I guess to start out, normal 3-lap versus races are as fun as ever. The addition of 24-player races makes for some really hectic shenanigans, and the sheer amount of grind rails and alternate pathways on so many of these courses make them ripe for some truly insane strats you can pull off. This is arguably the most exhilarating Mario Kart has ever felt to control. And much like Mario Kart 8, once you find a character and vehicle combination you like, it handles like a dream. I'm not going to delve too much into the courses, since obviously that's going to be its own video. But I will say, aside from a couple of expected duds in the retro department, I don't think any of the brand new courses are bad. They've all mostly got some cool stuff going on. Even if there's not too many that really get crazy with the theming, like the classics from series past, such as Music Park or Waluigi Pinball. Maybe that's because they're all supposed to fit into this consistent, interconnected world, but I don't know, that didn't stop them from including the giant ice cream course. Is that really meant to be a cohesive part of this world? Sky High Sundae is the only somewhat out-of-place exception, though. Pretty much every other course fits really naturally into this interconnected map, and you get a feel for that through the intermissions where you drive from one course to another. And while the traditional 3-lap or 3-section gameplay of World is as sharp as ever, the these intermissions are a bit more of a mixed bag. They are pretty cool the first few times you do them, but then they start to get old and samey since a lot of it is just driving in a straight line. Not all of it, there are turns here and there, but it's just not as interesting in terms of its design. It doesn't really hold a candle to the far more fun twists and turns of the well-designed normal courses. And just to be clear, I wouldn't call the intermissions unfun, just not nearly as fun as normal 3-lap Mario Kart. The problem is especially egregious because of how these intermissions affect the Grand Prix and the online. Grand Prix now consist of doing the first course in the cup like normal, 3 laps in all. Then you drive all the way to the next course in the intermission segment, and once you get to that course, you only get to do 1 lap on it. This is also true for the 3rd and 4th courses in the cup. So in the Flower Cup, for instance, you get to do 3 laps on Desert Hills, but then only 1 lap on Shy Guy Bazaar, Wario Stadium, and Airship Fortress. I mean, why would you want to ever play those courses more than once? Isn't Desert Hills all you need? Yeah, this really irks me, and I feel like it would be a little less egregious if you also did only 1 lap of the first course. But as is, it just kind of feels sloppy. I really wish you could just have an option to do the Grand Prix without intermissions, and that goes double for the regular online. It's set up just like Mario Kart 8, where you have an option between 3 courses and random. Except for some reason, most of the time, all 3 of the options you have to pick from online are intermissions. Very rarely will you get the option of a single regular 3-lap course, which is kind of insane to me. I don't hate the intermissions or anything, but the normal tried and true 3-lap versions of these courses are just way more fun to me. The fact that there's not even an option to enter a lobby that only has 3-lap courses as an option really puts a damper on this game's online compared to Mario Kart 8's. I got a ton of mileage out of just racing against strangers in 8 that I can't really see myself getting from World currently. In the main racing mode, that is. Pretty much all my problems with the intermissions completely go away when it comes to Knockout Tour, which seems to have emerged as the fan favorite mode of this game. It's basically a Mario Kart Battle Royale where you have to reach a certain placement in order to stay in the game. And damn, is it exhilarating. The fact that you keep going straight and never stop for breaks like you do in the Grand Prix suits this mode a lot better. It's fun, it's incredibly frantic. I kinda wish there was more than 8 routes to pick from, but otherwise, this absolutely rules. Do I prefer it over normal 3-lap races? Still no, but it's a hell of a lot better than just doing a single normal race on a straightaway intermission. Now onto the game's biggest new mode, Free Row. Wait, did I forget something? Oh yeah, Battle Mode. Guys, I hate to say it, but I think Battle Mode is washed again. Just 2 modes, Balloon Battle and Coin Runners. Yes, they took out Shine Thief, Bob-omb Blast, and Renegade Roundup. Also, for the most part, they just repurposed race courses for this mode. $80, by the way. Don't get me wrong, the race courses are nowhere near as egregious as they were in Wii U Mario Kart 8, but instead of being infuriating, these ones are just kinda depressing. It's nice that they're closed off, but they're still just too big for the most part. And the 2 actual returning battle courses, Big Donut and Thwomp Desert, aren't really that great or inspired picks. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This isn't Thwomp Desert from Mario Kart Wii. This is the completely brand new Chain Chomp Desert that just happens to have the same layout and music as Thwomp Desert. But this time, there's a chomp instead of a thwomp. Why are you guys so allergic to adding Mario Kart Wii retro battle maps? This is genuinely getting insane at this point. I will be fully transparent and admit that I haven't actually played nearly as much battle mode as I have the other modes, but that's honestly because it's just so boring to me. Apart from the weak maps, they brought back elimination in Balloon Battle, which would be cool. You know, if the timer wasn't locked at 3 minutes with no option to turn it off or change it whatsoever, why are we regressing from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in this regard? $80! I can't even turn off the stupid fucking timer in battle mode, are you kidding me? It just feels like this mode is no longer a priority for Nintendo in the slightest, and they just keep bringing it back out of obligation. The only reason it was so fleshed out in 8 Deluxe was just because they had so much time on their hands from not having to design any new race courses. But clearly that was a fluke. Oh well, there is one more miscellaneous compliment I want to give this game, and that's its killer soundtrack. I think the new course themes need a bit more time to grow on me, but the free roam mode is littered with phenomenal remixes of so many classic Mario songs. They did a stellar job paying homage to Mario's entire history with this soundtrack. And it's cute how the song that plays at any given time in the overworld is completely random. It kind of evokes going on a road trip and listening to a playlist of your favorite songs the whole time. I just really wish there was a music player, or at the very least, if they could show what song is playing in the corner of the screen. Would that really be so hard? I say as someone who never tells you guys what music I'm playing at any given part of my videos. I don't know, what can I say? I like to keep you guessing. Anyway, now let's talk about free roam. This is the real big claim to fame Mario Kart World has over the previous entries. The fact that you can drive anywhere in these courses and Lakitu won't get on your ass about it. This is incredibly cool and ambitious of the team to try and pull off, and it's really commendable how much effort they put into crafting this living, breathing, fully explorable world. So I am really sorry when I say I find this mode kinda dull. There just isn't a whole lot to do aside from scour the world for these little question mark panels, peach medallions, and P-switches that activate neat little missions for you to complete. I like nabbing these, don't get me wrong, but they're not nearly compelling enough for me to want to spend hours trying to find them. It's a cute little diversion, but nothing more really. A large part of that is probably owed to how your rewards for getting all these are just little stickers to put on your cart. I can't even pretend to care about these, sorry. For a lot of people, the appeal of the open world isn't to earn rewards, but just to explore and vibe and see what every last inch of Moo Moo Meadows looks like. I can totally respect players who find satisfaction in that, and I can't deny that getting to explore open world versions of Airship Fortress or Toad's Factory is a pretty novel experience for a bit. Like I said, there was clearly a lot of effort put into the open world. It's not lazy in the slightest. I just personally needed more of an incentive to do stuff in it. There were no rewards for completing missions in Mario Kart DS, but those were found in a little self-contained drop-down menu for you to quickly zoom through, instead of scattered through this needlessly gigantic world. The missions are pretty fun, and a lot of them are legit challenging, but I really wish there was a way to easily find them, either on the world map or in a drop-down list. As is, you just encounter a random P-switch, and you do that mission. They feel a little disposable just because of the way they're laid out, and because the game doesn't really keep track of where each mission you've completed is. They do that for the 5 question mark panels on each course. I don't think it would have been hard to give you a way to keep track of mission locations. That might have incentivized me to actually try and find them all. Again, it is really cool that they did this whole free roam thing. If I played this as a kid, it would seriously blow my mind. As an adult though, I really just needed rewards to make exploring every inch of this place feel worth it. And it bothers me too, because the solution is so obvious. There are a ton of rewards that would make for great incentives to explore the open world. Time for what is perhaps the single worst thing and biggest source of missed potential in all of Mario Kart World: the unlockables. First of all, I will say it is really nice to finally have unlockable stuff in a Mario Kart game again. I like the variety of vehicles, both the brand new ones and the plethora of fan favorites from previous games in the series. Even though they were never going to bring Rob back as a character, it is nice he got decommissioned and turned into a motorcycle, just to remind people that at one point he was a part of this series. The vehicles are tied to getting a certain number of coins, which is a fine enough way to unlock them, even if you could have tied some of them to missions in the open world. The main appeal though is of course the unlockable characters and costumes. Adding alternate costumes for the standard-ass Mario characters was one of the best things Tor implemented, and I'm so happy to see it in full force in this game. Like, holy shit, sometimes I will actually go out of my way to pick Mario because the Sunshine and Cowboy outfits are too damn cool. Don't even get me started on Aurora Rosalina, or Vampire Waluigi, or Child Labor Baby Mario. This shit seriously rules. And those new characters, oh man. There are some people, known as idiots, who will tell you that this roster sucks. Me personally, I could not be happier that they went out of their way to give the spotlight to so many glup shittos across the entire Mario series. I'm sure I'll make some sort of video talking about all of them, either a ranking of just the characters in World, or an update to my previous ranking of every character in the series, so I won't say too much more here. Except this, Conqueror is my new main and I love him. Look at him. Look at his stupid ass neck. He's amazing. I do miss a lot of the fan favorites that were excluded for seemingly no good reason, and I do think the final roster of 8 is definitely much more well-rounded overall. But this roster is just so chaotic and so undeniably fun. I really gotta hand it to Nintendo for thinking way outside the box compared to what I was expecting. So what exactly is the problem I have with this roster of characters and costumes? It's the way you unlock them. Starting with the costumes, you get these by grabbing food items at these Yoshi's Diner restaurants. You know what this means? Bowser, Bowser Jr., and Piranha Plant are all officially added to the Pizza Eater tier. I knew they had it in them. Anyway, these food items transform the characters and give them alternate costumes that are vaguely tied to the food you ate. I guess that's kind of fun, and it allows you to unlock new costumes in the middle of an unrelated race. But the optimal way to unlock these is just to find a certain restaurant in free roam and keep switching between characters and eating its food until you get all the costumes you need. I don't know, that seems a little bit lame to me. Like, why couldn't these costumes have been tied to certain missions in the open world? It's like, that's an easy built-in incentive for you to want to explore in free roam in order to get a reward that is already in the game. But, you know, the food thing may not be the best way to unlock costumes, but at least it's reasonable to expect of the player. The same is not true for the unlockable characters. I mean, there are some easy ones, like you get Donkey Kong for playing the Mushroom Cup, Daisy for playing the Flower Cup, etc, etc. I'm not talking about them. Remember Kamek? That kooky little wizard character that was cut at the last minute in 64 and only finally got his chance to be a racer in Tour and the Booster Course Pass of 8 Deluxe? Well, he's an item now! F you for ever wanting to play as him. And not only is he an item, he is the single worst mechanic in the entire Mario Kart series. In order to unlock 11 new enemy playable characters, like Pianta, Conkdor, Cataquack, Fishbone, etc., you need to get turned into one by Kamek. In order for this to happen, someone behind you needs to acquire the Kamek Orb item, which is extremely rare. They then use it on the people in front of them, which you better hope you're one of them. And when you do get transformed, you better hope it's the character you want, because some of them, like Swoop, Dolphin, or Fishbone, only seem to appear on certain specific maps. And even if you go to those specific maps and try to get turned into them, there's a chance Kamek will just turn you into a common character like Chargin' Chuck or Spike instead. Mario Kart World has essentially locked 11 characters behind a double gacha system. You need to get lucky and hope someone behind you gets the orb item, and then you need to hope Kamek transforms you into the exact character you're looking for. This is the most insane method of unlocking characters in Mario Kart history. At least with some of the crazy things they asked of you in Double Dash and Wii, you are guaranteed to get those characters if you completed these tasks. This shit is completely random and could take you literal days of grinding to get them. Shout out to this video by J Hart going over an exploit you can do with 2 controllers to make it a little bit easier to obtain, because once I used this method, it only took me 2 hours of grinding to get 3 fucking characters, instead of the 2 days it would have taken without this video. If you ever wanted a taste of what it's like to shiny hunt in Pokemon, here you go. This is a deeply miserable and insane choice on Nintendo's part. And I don't know what possessed them to not just add special missions in the overworld where you race against these characters in order to unlock them. Can you imagine how rewarding and fulfilling that would have been? Maybe you need to complete a certain number of normal missions before they appear on certain tracks. Then you beat them in a race, and bada boom, you unlock them. Am I insane for thinking that's a much better system than this ridiculous double gacha shit? How did no one on the team think of this? It would have added so much more purpose to free roam. Instead, we have this gigantic open world mode that feels undercooked because there's nothing substantial to earn from it, and an absolutely insane character unlock method that makes me want to tear what's left of my hair out. On the whole, I think Mario Kart World is a great and fun game. Despite some absolutely baffling design decisions here and there, the core conceit of the series, which is hours of multiplayer fun with your friends, is as strong as ever. The problem is, as strong as ever isn't really good enough this time. I loved my time with the game, but there is absolutely nothing here that justifies the $80 price tag. If Free Roam was this grand single-player campaign with the amount of stuff to do on the level of Mario Odyssey or something, then maybe there'd be an argument to be made. But as is, if you don't pick this game up in the bundle where the price is a lot more justified and reasonable, you might as well just stick with 8 Deluxe. Even without the Booster Course Pass, the amount of fun you can get from the base roster of 48 tracks in that game is pretty comparable to what World offers. And with the Booster Course Pass, forget it. 8 Deluxe is still by far the better game of the two. And while World has a lot of potential to catch up with updates and DLC in the future, the fact that it'll probably come at even further costs is pretty ridiculous.
I really hate to be so negative because I do think World is great and probably one of the better installments in the series, thanks in no small part to the stellar new racing mechanics as well as Knockout Tour. But I'm sorry, Nintendo begged for all this scrutiny by pricing the game so high. I don't think this justifies the price tag that I, and probably you, thankfully didn't pay for it, but people in 5 years who don't get the bundle will. So, all I can do is offer Mario Kart World my most scathing and disappointed 8 out of 10 score to date. I really am having a blast with it, but it kinda needed to be the best game in the series at the very least to justify asking so much of the consumer. Sorry, actually, I lied. Conqueror alone makes the price worth it. Hell, I think Nintendo should charge $120 for this game. Where else do you get to play as Conqueror? Masterpiece. Okay, that's about it. See you guys in a bit when I finally decide what order I'm gonna rank the tracks in. Good night, Crown City.